Hello YouTube, how you doing? I haven't done a video for a while. I have been doing a few videos, but I've been editing off the ones I really don't need or I feel are non-essential. There's also ones that I need to do which are for gameplay videos. At this point I'm editing two videos together that I did a few weeks ago, which to be honest, the only thing that's annoying me at the moment is my internet connection being a big pain in the ass when I try to upload those videos. I think the only real videos I have to actually look here. The only video I've got left over I have to actually edit together, which is the current rig that I'm working on, which I have to do actually a little presentation of what the rig's going to look like after I finish with it. So, in the meantime, I'm going to do a video on something that I picked up online. I've been picking up a few tools here and there, on and off. I've also been picking up LED globes as well. Fantastic little investment. Which LED globes basically just, you know, to be able to... Basically it's just in the sense of, okay, it's better for the environment, it's also better for the energy conservation, in those sense of things, and just, you know, saves me on... Should logically save me on my power bill as well. So what I ended up buying was... I went to, actually, have a look at it. I got recommended by, by somebody else's channel, which was a recommendation if you're doing this type of stuff. It's basically a Pro Tool Kit from iFixit. Now, iFixit also has a lot of YouTube videos as well, and a combination of different training videos to be able to actually pull things apart and take them apart, you know, do stuff with them basically. But I got a tool kit, which you pretty much roll the whole thing out, and it's got anti-static wristbands, prying tools, interchangeable screw sets, plastic prying tools for being able to pry up phones and things of that nature. You know, basically anything of that nature, pretty much. So I wanted to wanted to start working on that stuff. It's also got a little suction tool as well, so you can stick it to the screen when you need to pull the screen off. As well as that, which I've already got one of these in my toolkit. But this will be my extra spare anyway. But basically, I wanted a nice toolkit, and I wanted something that was just all, you know, sort of all one functional sort of kit. They could do a combination of different things with. It's got plying tools. It's got, you know, all the different types of things you use. You know, different sets of tweezers to be able to get screws and, you know, parts out and things like that. Cutting tools, whether it be a sort of a Stanley knife's similarity, you know, things like that. As well as that, you got prying tools to be able to open up certain computer parts and things like that. You know, basically it's an industry standard kit of things you would use to open a computer and things you might need to open a computer, or, you know, muck around with general electronics, home appliances and things of that nature. Then you've got a measuring tool as well, which isn't too bad. And then you've got the basic screwdriver set, which comes out of its little pouch here, and it's got basically, you know, a combination of different screws as well. It's basically the whole kit is 70 pieces in total. It's a combination of all the different things you would combine, basically, and it's probably one of the better kits that I've seen out there. There's also a measuring tool which I was thinking about getting at some point. Maybe also thinking about getting a heat gun if I was going to start doing work on not on computers, but on phones and things of that nature. Sometimes you require a heat gun to get the glue off, the glue residue and everything else. Basically, that's the way it comes. And I mean, it's not a bad little kit, to be honest. I'm quite impressed with the way that it came to me and the presentation that it was given. Didn't take long to get to me either. I only paid for I didn't pay for the top end of the postage side of things. I paid a relative amount. I mean, I think it was a priority or international priority mail or something from the United States, and it came pretty fast. It was pretty much on par with what I would expect. Reasonably fast, reasonably off the beaten track, you know. I've also ended up ordering a case, which was an Antec with a 500 watt power supply built in. The 500 watt power supply I'm going to be using for the current build that I'm going to be doing, or maybe perhaps I'll see. It depends. Probably most likely, because I'm always adamant about how much of the power supply, or how much power a power supply has in most cases. I'm always more adamant that you should at least have about 5 or maybe 450 watt if it's a decent power supply. If it's a low-end power supply, 500 550 watt. I found from personal experience, when it comes to power supplies, always try to get the better quality ones, because they always tend to last longer. They always tend to give out more power, and they always tend to a more stable range of power most of the time. I also picked up, which is probably a bit messy on my desk, but hopefully not too messy. Just move some of my stuff aside. I also managed to pick up, which was only 99 bucks, and I really didn't want to buy a really expensive keyboard. Wasn't going for a really expensive keyboard, to be honest. The Repo. Now I know it's a Repo. I don't know how you'd pronounce it, but that's the name of that's the brand name of the keyboard. But it's got a very good lot of interesting features. Basically, it's a V700 mechanical gaming keyboard. It's got a programmable key, so you can program every single key on it. So you can do a combination of programming different keys for different functions. As well as that, it's also got a 32 MHz processor, which is more responsive in the sense of gaming and be able to get response out of it. The typing response out of it is fantastic. I've had no problems typing. I've been able to type up things, whether it's from my YouTube or my Twitter or whatever. I had no problems typing up pretty much all that stuff. I had no issues at all. It was all good. So I'll be honest, for the fact that I didn't pay that much for the keyboard to begin with, I'm pretty happy with the end result. My other keyboard was about the same price, which was a Thermaltake keyboard, which was about the $99 mark or $79 mark, I believe. Anyway, my point is, it was pretty much the same price. So it was the same sort of price keyboard, but this one just seemed it seemed a little more substantial. I don't know. It just seemed to. Okay, I like the black firstly, which was a good. Doesn't pick up the dirt as much as white, because I had a white keyboard, which would always pick up the dirt more often than not. And it's got a few fingerprints here and there, but I mean, you wipe it off, it's pretty much okay. The actual keyboard sits pretty well. It's got a nice sort of rubbery plastic layer on it, which is not too bad. It's reasonable. It's got you can turn your Windows key on and off, obviously, which is here. And it's got a few good features on it. It's not as if there's crappy features on it. There's a programming button there as well, as you can program all your different buttons to basically have different functionality. I mean, considering the price I paid for it, and considering what it is, it doesn't light up. But basically, I'm going for more the range of good mechanical keyboards. Basically, I'm going for the best possible range of mechanical keyboards I can get at my budget rate. Basically. Pretty much my budget rate is where I want to stand. It's like you only have a certain amount of money. You only have you're basically constrained to your own budget, and unfortunately you can't do much about it. Well, I figured, hell, why not? I will just give it a try and I'll see how I go with it. Why the hell not just work my way out of it and just go, well, okay, hold on a second. I've bought a cheap keyboard, I'll see how it lasts. To be honest, it lasts. That keyboard I still up there is still functional. I'll probably end up giving that to someone, or most likely selling it off, or something of that nature. I don't know. Most likely that's what I'll end up doing. But another thing that I ended up picking up a while back. Sorry. I'm all twisted. I'm twisted. A little bit. Sorry, I do apologise. I'm just trying to get this. Because the massage chair's got a power cord at the back, which it's a big pain in the ass. There we go. That's better. So the problem that I've been having, not the problem, the things that I've been buying mostly of late has been to invest back into my business, so I get more business, or to make my experience better when I work with things. This is my newest hard drive, which I don't think I really sort of went in depthly into it, but it's basically a 1.5 terabyte drive. It's a portable drive which enables able to transfer data for clients and everything else, and do everything of that nature basically, and I found it very beneficial. It was pretty cheap. It was about $100, maybe less. Depending on where you went, you could probably get for an extra 39 bucks, you could probably get a 2 terabyte, but to be honest, a 1.5 terabyte would just do me fine, and it was reasonably priced at the time. I bought it off Catch of the Day, I believe. iFixit, honestly, which this is a recommendation by, I believe, Linus Tech Tips. Really, fantastic little kit. I'm wrapped in the presentation the presentation of the kit, the design and the tools that are in it that will actually help me with a lot of things that I do repair and I do come across, including and not limited to consoles, controllers and such, and things of that nature. LED light globes, which I've been trying to slowly replace my whole house with. The whole house pretty much just trying to replace everything with LED light globes. I'm currently under a LED light globe, which it's not looking too bad. This is a brighter one, obviously. This one here is a brighter globe than the other ones. The other ones around the house are 9 watt. This is a 12 watt globe. This one's a little bit brighter. It's got a little more lighting, just because the lighting situation I live in. I need a little bit more light in this room, to be honest. I've also put it in the another 12 watt bulb, because I've got 2 of these in my bench section, or my workbench section in the kitchen, which works perfectly for lighting situations at night when I'm trying to work on machines and such and things of that nature. The other low power globes, which are the 9 watt globes, which hopefully will save us a bit of power in the long run and something on the power bill anyway. We've ended up doing that. I've ended up putting one in my dad's room, one in the main room, one in the bathroom, one in the... Well, anyway, the whole story is that I ended up getting like 8 globes, but I'm still waiting for some other globes to come. At this point in time, I've got one in the bathroom. Okay, so I've got one in the bathroom, one in the... let's see. One's in the bathroom, one in the toilets, none in the hallway at the moment. I've got one in the kitchen, plus one of the brighter ones in the middle of the kitchen where my workbench is. And then I have 2 more globes I need to replace in the lounge room. My dad's globe is replaced in his room. I need to replace the one in Jacob's room. So I've got 2 more globes in the kitchen, and I think I've got another globe in the laundry, which I don't know. It depends on how many globes I end up having left at the end of it. If I have enough, sure, that'd be great. But I don't know whether I'm going to have enough, and if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. All comes down to the situation, and all comes down to whether I'll be able to or not. If I can, that'll be great. That'll be perfect. I'll be quite happy. So for now, I'm just going to sort of roll along with it and just basically roll along with my new repair kit as well. I bought a new case, which is this little antique case with a 500 watt power supply, as I was saying, and should be pretty good. It should be interesting to see exactly where this stands. I'm going to build into this new case and see what impression I get out of it. It's not probably as easy as some of the Cooler Master cases that I've used to build in the past. I don't know whether it has an actual bracketing system that's already come, or standard brackets that come with it, so you can put hard drives in and stuff. I'll see when I open it up and actually have a look on the inside of it and see what's going on. So basically I have to work out what's going on with it. I haven't opened it up and started to build the new system yet, but I will at some point. At this point in time, I'm sort of testing the other components. They're on the bench at the moment, they're on the workbench. Pretty much laying naked on the workbench and just me testing them to see if they actually function and whether there's any issues or whether they fall over or not. I also need to get a new heatsink for the current build that I have out there, mainly because the heatsink that I did have, or the heatsink I do have, one side of it doesn't actually click down properly, which is part of the plastic, I believe was part of the plastic crimps actually breaking. So what I need to do is get an actual proper heatsink that sticks down properly. That, of course, will come with time, and of course, you know, I'll just basically wait and work my way through doing it. At this point in time, it's just a case of getting it just re-engineered properly, or getting it done properly, basically. So what I've already done, or what I've ended up doing with that, is at this point in time, I've ended up basically setting the project aside and just leaving it there and testing the components. I haven't actually plugged it back in, but I originally, because I had a couple of weeks where I had clients coming past and coming over and bringing computers over, and I had a lot of computers on the bench here and there. Also, I worked on Alienware, which was fascinating. I didn't end up opening it up. I ended up mostly doing software diagnostics, a little dusting on it, you know, stuff like that. But I didn't end up really going into it extensively and opening it up. But I ended up doing some Windows 8 updates, combination of stuff like that, and yeah, not too bad. I can't complain vastly with Alienware, but I mean, to be honest, for what I could build, and what Alienware's charging for that type of hardware, and what I could build myself straight off that, I'd probably preferably build it myself. Not that there's anything wrong with Alienware. I don't have anything against them. I don't think they're a bad company. Let's just Dell Alienware as well. Dell aren't a bad company. It depends. The others sort of vary. You know, some of the computers are great. They can go for a hell of a long time and still work like a charm. And then some of them actually just bottom out to absolutely shitting themselves almost. That happens. I've learned that. That's something that I've come from personal experience of dealing with Dell and HP, compact computers, those types of computers. There's also the bare minimum, the bare bones computers that I'm seeing today, or a lot of these different bare bones computers that I'm coming across, which, yeah, don't get me wrong, they're okay, but, you know, for what you could probably build, you know, for maybe $600. Yeah, probably about $600. You can probably build something fairly decent for $600 that would do a fair amount of gaming, as well as have pretty or reasonably decent components in it. Just because the required cost of parts have gone down. Good, you know, good value power supplies. A lot of the Corsair and the other ones these days are. A lot of them are going. You know, a lot of the prices are coming down on the power supplies, on parts that are generally were expensive, and they're, you know, things are getting a lot cheaper. It's like anything, you know, like something with mid-range or sort of mid-range combo components, you could really do a great job with, to be honest. So the other side of the spectrum, I've got, you know, this iFixit.com toolkit, which is fantastic, by the way. I've really quite fallen in love with the design and the simplicity of it. It's pretty much just like, you know, it's like a tourniquet during your operation, you know, you're a doctor. Throw out your tourniquet and just say, I need to operate on my patient. You know, but it's pretty cool. It's a good concept and it's interesting stuff, and it's definitely something I want to get into. It's definitely something I want to side mark everything and just go straight into the boundaries of it and just push and see exactly where I can go with it technically. I don't know. I haven't been feeling overly good lately. I've just been feeling a little bit sick. Not sick, but just I had bad itch from sunburn that I got about a few weeks ago when I was doing a garage sale. A couple of other things, so I wasn't feeling 110%. My system was a little down in the dumps, so I was feeling less energetic and, you know, just wasn't fully buzzed and fully right where I should be. So I ended up going back to it, and I thought, fuck, you know, I need a rest. So I rested for a few weeks and just took things easy. As well as taking things easy, I also relaxed and tried to, I think I'd sat down and watch a couple of Star Trek episodes and things of that nature, you know, stuff like that, and basically just thought, screw it, you know. I feel like doing this. That'll probably be explained in one of my videos, which I was running around GTA 5, just, you know, blowing shit up and stuff. I need to do some more videos with my girlfriend in combination with some of her friends as well, just being able to, you know, randomly record stuff. It's always good to hear, it's always good to get some of that stuff and record some of that stuff. Just, you know, whether it be playing the different matches and stuff. I started playing survival mode on GTA 5 as well as survival mode. I also played a couple of other modes on there. I tried the online heists very briefly, and I did enjoy them immensely. I'm also looking forward to, which today, at the moment, it's the 13th of the 4th, 2015, and it's going to be the 14th tomorrow. Tomorrow, GTA 5 on PC is being released. I'm going to have a good test of it, run on 4K. It should be interesting to see exactly how it performs on my system. So then I've got a pretty good system to start with, which is two 770s. Which, to be honest, I don't see a big problem. They've both got 4 gigabytes of memory, so I should be able to run it. Should be able to run the game with, like, you know, like a breeze basically on 4K. And it shouldn't, you know, I shouldn't have that much impact on my frame rates. At this point in time, I don't think I'll be investing in any new hardware right now. For what I've got, which is two 770s, 4 gigabytes each, so it's 8 gigabytes of total graphics memory. I'm doing pretty well. Everything's working pretty well. I haven't had any problems with my system. What else is? I mean, everything's been working pretty damn well. I've had to blow my system out a few times, which is my basically blow some dust out of the system, pretty much. I've blown some dust out of the system as well as blowing some dust out of the system. I'm also decided to myself, I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second. I need to do something else here. I need to, well, okay, at some point I would like to get a new case. I would like to get a Cooler Master Cosmos 2, which I know it's a big honking case, but I will find a lot of benefit in having that much room in my case, just expansion-wise, in the sense of future upgrades, as well as the case. The case is built like a fucking brick shit house, and, you know, you can throw it off the top of a building and it'll probably still fucking work, still be functional, you know. Basically what I'm going to try and do is The current case I have is a 602 Phantom, I think. Yes, pretty sure. 630 Phantom or something of that nature. I think it's about this. That's a 630 Phantom, I believe. It's not too bad. It works, and I mean it's not a bad case. It is getting old, and it's starting to show a bit of its age. And I mean, I do run my computer pretty much continuously. I rarely shut it down unless I'm, not doing certain tasks at home and things like that. And I'm not doing certain tasks for my business stuff, or I'm not gaming and things like that. But I mean, saying that aside from gaming, I chat online a lot too. So it's a combination of stuff. Aside from chatting online, I game a lot. What's a combination of gaming on the Xbox, a combination of gaming on my PC, and it can be combined of all that really. And at times, the best experience I've had so far is that, I don't know, I just wouldn't mind getting a Cosmos 2. I mean, to be honest, I feel it's a worthwhile upgrade in the future. Definitely something I'm looking forward to. I mean, the only thing is the price in Australia isn't as agreeable as I would want it to be, in comparison to probably somewhere in the States or something like that. It's probably a bit cheaper in the States. But to be honest, I'm thinking I want to go to the Cosmos 2 because it is a very nice case. I know it's a big case, I'm well aware of that. But the amount of room, it's the airflow factor. I do have a lot of components that run hot, or can run hot if there is an inadequate airflow. I have a 9590, which is an AMD FX 9590, which is a hot CPU regardless to start with. Not that it doesn't run well with the current cooling solution I've got, which is the Cooler Master. Nothing wrong with the Cooler Master. It's a 280 litre Neptune, I believe. My point is, it runs well. It runs great with that. Not a problem. I find I have to do it, blow it out regularly. On top of that, I've got all Corsair highest performance 1866 RAM, which does have a tendency to. Well, it can run hot in different situations, especially if you run it on the specific profiles you mentioned run it on. Then I've got the fact that all the hard drive slots I have in my computer are pretty much full. I mean, pretty much down to every last one. I think there's only 2 slots at the back which are for SSDs, which I can put those 2 drives in if I want to, but I choose not to at this moment just because I haven't got any extra SSDs that I would want to use. And if I was really going for it, I'd probably get a 1 terabyte SSD, but that would probably be a way future upgrade, and I'd probably end up keeping my old SSD, which is the 500 gigabytes at the moment for my OS, as I wouldn't want any bigger than 500 gigabytes for my OS drive. At the moment, and at this point in time, I've got a clear indication that I've got those 2 slots at the back for SSDs, so I can put SSDs in if I choose. So at this point in the time, it's just better for me to have a lot of airflow in my case. So I'd rather buy a bigger case just to have a nice big pack of airflow. I may have to purchase a few extra fans. I'm not denying that. I probably will have to buy some extra fans. I won't have to buy all of them, but I'll probably have to buy a few extra ones just for things to sink in properly and work properly. I know my current case has got one, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got 7 fans in total. Yes, 7 fans in total in the case. Now I know for a fact that the Cosmos 2 has a lot more than 7. It has way more. They're smaller bracket fans, but they all fit into a specific area. Also, I can cable manage a little better with the Cosmos 2, mainly because it's got more room to spread out a little more. I mean, yes, I know I could probably organise my own case. But to be honest, my own case is getting a bit old. It's not new anymore, so I would rather just make the whole upgrade to a new case, which would just make sense to me, to be honest. So at this point in time, what I'm planning to do at some point is upgrade to a Cosmos 2, Cooler Master Cosmos 2, which, yeah, we'll see. It won't be in the future, it'll probably be a while before I actually end up doing it, but at some point I would like to do that. That'd be something I'd definitely invest in, an upgrade to my PC and an upgrade to the situation my PC's in. So I've ended up buying a toolkit, which is always great. I've ended up buying a few other extra tools and things that I use commonly in my business. And, when you're a PC technician, it's always good to have these tools and everything else. The only thing I will complain about, which is the only thing I'm a bit annoyed at the moment, I had to actually duct tape my headset, which was a Turtle Beach Z60 Air Force, one of the new headsets. Basically, because the plastic, basically because the plastic's too thin in that area. Basically the plastic here is way too thin, so it broke. This part anyway. This part is pretty much the part that broke. Right, it broke there, and it was the most difficult part you possibly could have broken it. Now, this is a common thing with all my headsets. I mean, look, it's not as if I go out of my way to abuse my headsets. I try not to anyway. Just I do have a tendency to sleep with my headset sometimes and things of that nature, and things do happen. I mean, it's just commonality. But the fact that most of these things are made out of plastic, or to a certain extent, you know, they don't have a very versatile, flexible nature, it ends up breaking on me after a certain amount of time has elapsed. That's what normally ends up happening. Basically, that broke, and I thought, well, okay, bugger it, I'll just duct tape it. It's easier. It's the easiest thing I can do for the moment, and it's the easiest way to work with a headset. But I'll be honest, most of these Turtle Beach and these types of headsets, they're plastic. They are not designed to last forever. So, I mean, to be honest, the amount of times that I've had to replace a given headset, to the point where, you know, or something has broke specifically on it, a part, or a certain part of it has broken, the amount of times that I've had to replace a headset of late has been more often than not. Just finding from personal experience. I also had a problem which I got the headset replaced. I'll probably end up selling it. It was a headset that I ended up buying, and it was fine, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the headset. It was the actual connector that goes into, not into the headset itself, but the connector that goes into this little box that connects to the PC, which was an Asus Strike Pro headset. The box basically broke. The connector in there bent, basically. And unfortunately, something like that cannot be avoided. I mean, especially if it's designed to sort of have that type of fault at some point. I mean, you know, it's possible to, you know, to have something, if you have something on the floor or something like that. No, sorry, I apologise, my somewhere itching a bit, but, you know, my point is, it's possible to have something fall on the ground and, like, you know, the connector fall out or whatever, or possibly you get bent when you don't realise it's getting bent. These things happen. It's normal wear and tear. But at the same time, I do believe, honestly, that something should last more than 2 weeks and something should last more than a year. If something has generally a year's warranty, you would expect it to last at least a year, if not more, depending on the situation. And this comes down to every product that I've ever bought, including not limited to fridges, cameras, or otherwise. Some products these days are actually designed to be more flimsy than, you know, previous generation of products. And I'm noticing this, and I'm taking this into note and point. So, I mean, you know, it's the case that being a bit more delicate with something these days does pay off in some cases. But, I mean, to be honest, it would be nice if some manufacturers would accommodate just certain strengths, you know what I mean? Certain internal components, whether it be certain internal components or certain designs that they stick to. I recently bought a new vacuum as well, which originally my dad had a well, my dad has my old one, which is 16 volts. This is the new one that I ended up buying, which is a Black & Decker Dustbuster Lithium 18 volts Dustbuster. Now, my original one was almost exactly the same as this. Almost. No, actually it is. It's pretty much the same, except it's white, and it's a bit more dirtier because it's been used and it's been used over the years. You know, so you can tell it's actually been used. So the context of itself, this one itself is not too bad. I haven't had any major problems. The only problem I had is this is a little bit loose sometimes, but I find once I clip it back into place, it's most of the time it actually works. So the point is that, or the point that I've become annoyed with, is that even though that's the same design on both of them, the plastic head was a little more flimsy. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Or it possibly could have been the same sort of design. I mean, I didn't notice it as much with my, I didn't note it as much with my 16 volt as I did with my 18 volt. Saying that, it might be just the fact that it wasn't clipped in properly when I clipped it back on or something. So, you know, sometimes you just got to readjust everything and flip it back on. But, look, I have noticed, and there's not all products, it's only some products. Some products I'm coming across, you know, they seem to last forever, and then some products you come across, they're gone within like 2 minutes, you know. For example, I bought that $99 Thermaltake keyboard, and I've had no problems with it. No major issues, it always works. Always, you know, I've never had any problems with it breaking down or feeling like it's going to break down or something like that. This new keyboard, I'll see how it goes, but it seems pretty solid. It feels solid. It doesn't feel like it's crappy. It doesn't feel like, you know, it feels like you could probably beat somebody to death with it if you chose to. Same as that one, you could probably beat somebody to death with that too. But, you know, like, I mean, the context of it in my mind is that a product should be able to last. It should have a certain time parameter where it's actually going to last a reasonable amount of time. You know, a year, 2 years. I would say 2 years would be a reasonable amount of time in my mind, because 2 years, after 2 years you can probably afford to actually do the upgrade. You know what I mean? But, I mean, some technologies these days is designed to just simply, you know, twig out at the slightest possible chance of, you know, just the fact that, oh, sorry, you got to update now or something like that. You know, so yeah. Look, personal experience and just personal things that I've come across and things that I'm just getting used to is that, yes, some technology doesn't last as long as you would expect it to. Things I have noticed, though, in trend of video cards. My 770s are almost the exact same design as my previous generation 670 card, which my nephew's had. And my nephew, and that particular design, or Gigabyte design cards, they have 3 fans, three separate cooling fans. Every card that I've come across that always had just that one fan in the middle or that one fan at the end has always bit the dust quicker than a card that has like 3 different fans inside the system to keep the heatsink cool and keep everything cool, basically. So to be honest, I do like those systems with a little more open heatsinks and a little more fans, or a few more fans basically, because it keeps the components cooler for a longer period of time. It also tends to keep them running better, generally speaking, and this is something that I've noticed with the 770s. They run very nicely at temperatures are very nice most of the time. Saying that, you know, it could be different. I mean, well, no, it probably isn't different, because I think Gigabyte, this is a common thing I've found with buying Gigabyte over time. Gigabyte I've never had a problem with. I've managed to buy, I've bought 2 of their cards now, which is the 2 770s I have currently in my computer. Haven't had any major problems with it. The only issue I had was a bit with overclocking, but that was overclocking. I mean, overclocking, you've got to expect a few software errors anyway. My nephew's currently using the 670, which is an old Gigabyte model. It works perfectly. My point is that I've noticed a trend with the design that Gigabyte use, which is these three basic fans for cooling, which cools the heatsink and takes the air out and pushes the air out for the system. Now, I've noticed with each of these designs, they're very fundamentally solid, and they don't tend to cop out as fast and tend to shit themselves as fast either. This also comes from second-hand components that I've also noticed a different trend from. Some of the ones with the big fans in the middle or the fans at the end, they always tend to get hot over a period of time. They tend to heat up, and their lifespan tends to get shortened. Depends on the card, of course. Depends on how much dust is in the system too. But I mean, at the end of it, from personal experience, I've found that this design, that particularly for the 770 series or any, whether it be the 970 or the, if you at least buy something in the 970, which is the current generation, which is the 970, or the 770 or the 670 range, even the 570, right, or the 470. Those cards, as long as you bought something in that range of price, most of the time you're pretty good. There is the other downside of cards, or the other side of the cards, which is the 660 ties and things like that. 660s are not too bad. I don't think the 660s are too bad. Only thing I will say, if you're going to get something like a 660, try to get the best possible cooling option for the specific thing you're using. Best cooling option, you know what I mean? The more fans, the merrier, basically. More fans helps with heat distribution and getting rid of heat out of the system. I mean, you can just go total water cooling. I I've never really gone into really doing a total water cooling system. I mean, aside from water cooling my CPU with a radiator and a pump system, that's about the only way in that sense. But I've looked at a few of the different cards out there. Like, there's a couple of cards which I thought were interesting, which is the what's the name of the damn card? It was a Radeon 990. There's two 990s on the one card, and it was water cooled basically. Which, to be honest, I don't think that'd be a bad thing to do something like that. Yes, actually I would. I would probably invest, because it's about $1,000 or something to actually get the card. I would probably invest that much, or save up that much and invest that much in a card if it had those two graphics processors on the one board. Basically, the water cooling sense of things, I think there's nothing wrong with trying to water cool your graphics cards, because they do just as much intensive work as your CPU does at given times. So, to be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Would I? Well, I've sort of been looking at the Titan X, which is the newest card. The reference designs I don't really like. I would like to see. I don't know. See, the Titan X's, I honestly think the reference designs that I've seen so far, I mean, even some of the reference designs from different companies I've noticed, I'm just going, no, I don't really like the reference designs. I think the Titan X needs a revamp on how its cooling's done, I like you've ever seen this 980s? 980s? 980s as well as 970s. Both of the cooling design references where you've got 3 fans cooling the system. That's the best air design cooling I've seen. As for anything else, I'd probably go water cooling on your graphics card. And there are systems in place now where you can actually mount water cooling to your graphics card if you choose to. It's not always easy because you got to rip the actual company heatsink off there. But once you get the company heatsink off and everything else, I think I'm saying it's relatively easy. The only thing you should do is make a note of the way it comes apart, and the way it goes back together. Notes to yourself basically to know exactly which screw is which and how things go. Yeah, basically just knowing how it goes back together. I don't know. I mean, I always remember that stuff off the top of my head. Most people, a percentage of people, like to make notes. It all comes down to your personal preference. If you can remember those things off the top of your head, sure, go ahead. But if you can't remember those things off the top of your head and you need to make notes, go ahead. Nothing wrong with making notes. Notes are good. Sometimes it's required just because, your memory's not always the most reliable thing. But I'm going to leave it there anyway. Thank you very much, YouTube. I hope you enjoyed my video. I will try to stay tuned with some more videos. Obviously, you can get some more updates in there. I'll do some more updates on my build, which is my current build out there, which is my current build that I'm doing, which basically at this point is a what was my current build? My current build at the moment that I'm working on is going to be an Antec case with a Core 2 Duo dual core basically, 2 GB of RAM, and just basic hard drives, a couple of hard drives, maybe just 500 gig and 120. Well, maybe if I had like 120 or something, if I have a 120 gig drive, 120 gig drive and a 500 gig storage drive basically. And it'd be a basic starter. I mean, it's not going to be nothing fancy, but it's basically going to be a reconditioned second-hand computer that I'm going to be selling off basically. Anyway, I'm going to stay tuned. Thank you. Subscribe to me on Twitter, Twitch, TV, Instagram, Facebook. I have all these references there. So these are all pretty much the things I've linked up to my YouTube now. So if you want to subscribe to any of those things. I haven't been doing as much updating lately just because I haven't always been in the mood to do it, so it's sort of lost in translation or something. I have just lately I've been, because I haven't been feeling 100%. I've just gone off and done my own thing basically, just rested and relaxed. Alright, anyway, thank you very much YouTube. Stay tuned. I got more coming up. Please don't hesitate to subscribe, or don't hesitate to ask me questions if you've got any questions about particular technical problems you may have, specific problems or not, or just you just want to talk tech. I don't mind talking tech either. Alright, okay, thank you very much, and I'll catch you YouTube. Bye.